Hello everybody. Today I thought it would be nice just to put together an art journal page with you. I'm going to do this out of my Bible. This is the Illustrating Bible. I use it strictly for art journaling. It's not like my study Bible because a lot of times I end up covering up the entire page and cannot read it. So I love this Bible for art journaling. It was created for that. The pages on it are nice and thick. But we have been spending some time talking about art journaling in general and different techniques, and I just thought it would be nice to see an entire page come together. So I'm using some clear gesso on my Bible art journal page just because it will dry clear and it will prime my paper for any kind of medium that I decide to throw on it. So I'm just going to lay this out, and I do have this little piece right here to kind of protect as I do it on the rest of the page. I'm not going to get an entirely smooth surface. I don't mean to. I want there to be some ridges and things with the spatula. So I need to let this dry, and usually as I let this dry, I go ahead and figure out kind of what I'm going to do. So I did my Bible study, listened to my worship music. I'm listening to Giants Fall today, and the verses that I'm going to be Bible arting about is going to be 2 King chapter 13 verse 14 through roughly 19. And it's when Elijah became sick with the illness from which he died, King Jehoshaphat of Israel, I think that's how you say his name, went down and wept over him and said, my father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel. Elijah responded, get a bow and arrow. So he got a bow and arrow. Then Elijah said to the king of Israel, grasp the bow. So the king grasped it, and Elijah put his hands on the king's hands. Elijah said, open the east window. So he opened it. Elijah said, shoot. So he shot. Then Elijah said, the Lord's arrow of victory, yes, the arrow of victory over Aram. You are to strike down the Ammonites in Affliated until you have put an end to them. Then Elijah said, take the arrows. So he took them. Then Elijah said to the king of Israel, strike the ground. So he struck the ground 3 times and stopped. So that is the verse that I'm going to be art journaling about today. This is now dry. The gesso's dry on it. So I want to get my background laid down, and I'm going to use some Distress Oxides, and I'm going to use some lemonade, squeezed lemonade down here. And then I'm going to use some Mermaid Lagoon on the top. And then between the two, I'm going to use Twisted Citron. And then what I like to do is I just like to go over one more time, do a nice little spray on the top and the bottom. And I am actually going to dry that. I'm not going to add any water to it. And then I will start to lay out the rest of the page. It's fairly dry now. I removed the 2 pieces of scratch paper, but I wanted to show you that had I done this on a regular paper that hadn't been gessoed, the distress would have bled through because it's so moist. But if you take a look at the back, there's very little bleed through, and this is actually probably where I did not have any gesso. So the next thing I want to do is I actually want to lay down some images, and I'm going to be using this little house that I'm going to use as an arrow, and this chevron that I'm going to use as an arrow as well, and then this cross. And these are all by Gel Press. These are the Gel Press Petites. This one is out of the Faith Impressions line. And so I'm just going to take, and I found on the floor, how funny is this? I found on the floor this sandwich bag. Obviously I cannot use it for like food. So this is a little bit cumbersome on the top. So I'm just going to cut that off, and I'm going to use this to add some texture to my plate. So I'm just going to bunch it up and just add texture to my plate as I put some color down. So for my arrow, I am going to want to put down some lapis, or it's a blue. I suck at saying names. And also, I think I want to do some lime in here as well. So I'm just going to take my brayer and just brayer it all over like so. And then I'm going to bunch this up and pop on some fun texture like so. And then I'm going to put this off to the corner down here. So it's just coming off of the page. It's like shooting up. Okay. There we go. Love it. And then next up, I'm going to take, and I need to clean my brayer off, so that's why I have this piece of paper off to the side, is I'm going to take this one, and for this, I'm going to lay down some lime, and I'm first going to brayer that through. And get that base color down. And then I'm going to pop a little bit of yellow in here. Lemon yellow. And that's going to blend really, really crazy into that. So I'm going to pop in some more of this blue. There we go. And again, I'm going to take and just put a little bit of texture on there. And then flip it over. And just push that arrow on down like so. And see how I have a little bit of yumminess? So for this one, I'm not going to use the texture. I'm just going to clean off my brayer on this like so. And pop this down again. Lining up those arrow points. So it's kind of pointing at the scripture. Loving it. And you can even go back in if you have one that's not quite all the way through and you want it. See if you can't lift that paint. There you go. And then from here, I want to put at the top, I'm going to do a main cross, and then I'm going to do some ghost on it, some ghost stamping, but I have to turn it this way to face me. I'm so sorry. Hope you don't mind too much if I do that. And for this, I am going to just flip this inside out as to not contaminate with the blue, because I'm going to be using some pink and some rosy for this. So I'm just cleaning off my brayer. First, I'm going to pop down this one. And then I'll pop down some rosy. I really like metallics on the cross. I don't know why. I'm going to brayer this on out. And then I'm just going to pop this down right about there. And it's super light, but that's okay. because we're going to outline these images. And I can even go over it if I want to. I think I'm just gonna take some of that. And then there we go. And then I'm just going to line it up one more time. That's the beauty of this, is you can see straight through it, which is so nice. There we go. And then I'm just going to clean off my brayer on it. And I'm just going to put a couple off the page. I like to do off the page because it just is so pleasing to the eye. And then take a look at this. Yeah, I'm really liking that. I think it looks great. You know, I can put some down here. So I can do that. Just see if there's anything left on the brayer. Not quite sure there is, but I'll do, you know, a little bit down on that one. And then do a little bit right there. And that one didn't exactly take, so going carefully over it in that one spot. And it's not really liking it, so see if I don't have any paint left. It might be getting pretty dry at this point. There we go. All right, so from here, I'm going to actually outline the images with my paint over pins as well as my metallic-y pen. So I'm going to use this deco marker in copper on my crosses, and then I am going to use my starfish and mermaid on these two. I'm probably going to use my starfish on this arrow, and then on the chevron pieces the mermaid. And I'm just going to outline that to give it some definition. Went ahead and got all those images outlined, and now I'm actually going to write in my thought, which is going to be focus on God and watch the giants fall. So I want to put focus on God up here and write watch the giants fall right here. My favorite pen to use for this is actually this pen right here. It's a wonderful write over pen, and it has a beautiful, it's like, it's not too thin, it's not too thick. It's like the perfect consistency. It just looks really good. I don't know how to explain it, but you'll see. So there we go. We have focus on God, watch the giants fall, aim high. So it's a rather, for me, this is a pretty simple page. The last thing that I need to add is actually my date, and I like to do that in threes, or threes or fives. So usually I do 3 in the corner and then 2 on the top, but I think in this situation I'm actually going to just do 3 down here. I like to use archival ink, and then I have this date stamp, and I always have to make sure that I check it before I stamp, because I have been known to stamp them upside down. Just my luck, right? And then I just kind of roll it, and just gonna do it in threes. I don't know why I do it in threes, but it's just my thing. And that is my complete art journal for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and it's kind of nice to see the process come together instead of just, you know, seeing little, hey, do this and how you do this and why do you need this? And it's just nice to see the whole thing come together in a finished project. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I certainly hope that you do so. Make sure you hit that little bell so you can get notified when I have new videos out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And then if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Until next time, happy crafting.